Hi everyone. As part of this Anxiety and Depression Awareness Week, I've actually brought one of my teachers here to talk to you today. This is Helen Cole.
Hello everyone.
Helen works here with me at the studio. In fact, she doesn't just teach classes, she kind of runs the show now. So Helen, I'm very grateful for you. But it didn't come easily to Helen, and that's why I've asked her to come and just have a chat to me about all things anxiety, because Helen actually found yoga because she was experiencing anxiety. So I might just come back, Helen, if you don't mind sharing with us today about how did you actually know that you had anxiety? Because I know personally I didn't know that I had it. It wasn't until I looked back, but was there something that a doctor said or something that someone had said? And then can you tell us about how you found yoga?
Yeah, sure. So I was told by a doctor that it was labelled as anxiety, but before that I knew something in my body wasn't right. I'd started to experience some breathlessness, sort of hot flushes, but like redness in the face, very tight restriction in my chest, and feeling very embarrassed in social situations, thinking ahead all the time, so always worried about the next thing. My rhythm, which I'm always quite a fast going person, but was really, really fast. Like my tempo rhythm was very, very quick. And I probably thought I was sleeping well, but wasn't. It was very sort of short and quite light sleep through the night. So it got to a point that I think I was just absolutely chronically exhausted and anxious, and finally went to a doctor.
And so just before you got to the doctor, what was it that made you think, I've got to go and do something about this now?
I was going through a bit of personal stuff at the time. My sister had been diagnosed with cancer, and so we were sort of getting through that as the family, and being in Australia away from England, I was finding that really, really hard. So I knew that I wasn't emotionally very well, I guess. I knew that I wasn't feeling my normal, I'm very happy-go-lucky sort of person, and I just wasn't that. I just wasn't feeling myself, I guess.
And I suppose hearing news of a loved one, and usually when you compare yourself to your normal coping mechanisms, perhaps that's when you really realise that, okay, they're not really working for me right now.
Yeah.
There isn't something's not quite right.
Yeah, and thank you, Lauren, because I actually realised I didn't really have any coping mechanisms. I was 23 at the time, and my coping mechanism would just be pretty much to bury my head in the sand, to work. I've always worked a lot, so work. If it was, really, really too painful to look at, I'd maybe have a glass of wine, which would, not make anything better, but it was just a way of, that was the coping mechanism. I'd never been taught anything different. So yeah, I went to the doctors and tried to sort of seek some help there. I was told that I was anxious and depressed, which is a vicious cycle that a lot of people go through, that it's actually not one or the other. We tend to, no one's immune to it, and it tends to sort of be quite cyclic, that you can be in that depressive sort of energy of what's the point, why bother, and then to that anxious of I need to control life because it's all going wrong. And I was more the anxious I was more the anxious spectrum, but if that makes sense. But I also did have those lulls as well. So
okay, so tell me, what did they tell you to do?
So the doctor, first of all, they wanted to put me on antidepressants. That was sort of their quick fix. I actually asked for counselling instead of going on the pills. I really didn't want to go on the pills. Not to say that I think that they're bad in any way, but for myself, I just didn't want to get hooked on something. And I've always had a bit of quite a strong belief in trying to do things naturally first. So I really didn't like the idea of going onto pills unless I really had to. So I asked for some counselling, which was really good because, with Medicare here, you do get a certain amount of counselling included. So I went for probably about 4 or 5 sessions out of the 10, and even just talking to someone, it did really help. I was probably given a few handout sheets about relaxation techniques and stuff, but didn't really do them because it's a case of reading a piece of paper. I don't really know what this stuff means. I'm not going to go home, and I didn't know what meditation was, that's for sure.
And you didn't know what yoga was?
Didn't know.
Well, you'd never done yoga.
Yeah, I'd heard this word yoga for a long time, and always thought I should try it, even just because of tight shoulders, working in an office. And my massage therapist, actually, I remember him saying, you really need to do some yoga because you're going to be a hunchback before you're 40 years old. So do some yoga. But I sort of didn't ever think I'd be good enough for yoga. I was, very tight hamstrings, can't touch my toes and stuff like that. So I knew I should do it. There was this little voice over here saying, do yoga, it's going to be really good for you. But there was just something holding me back. And I guess the anxiety probably didn't help you know, it's hard to try something new when you're anxious, and it's hard to try something new when you're depressed, because you either don't want to because you can't be bothered, or you feel like really overwhelmed by what might happen in that scary situation that you don't know, that you can't control.
And I guess it's so much easier to do nothing at all, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and bury your head, sort of. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, okay, so you've been now told that perhaps relaxation, meditation and yoga is the path. And just fast forward to now, like, she's not only is Helen a yoga teacher, she co-facilitates with me. We run retreats. Helen is also a coach and helps people with their own anxiety and depression. So she's done full circle. So here we are back at Shall I Do Yoga, and tell me, how did everything change from then?
Do you know, I'm not sure what actually made me go to the yoga class on that first day. I'm pretty sure I didn't have a car at the time, so I probably would have walked there. But it was just that class, and I really don't remember about how I got there, why I showed up, but I just remember about being in that space and being with, you know, that first yoga teacher that just changed my life, absolutely changed my life forever. Just being able to move in your body and being told that you need to be breathing and not holding your breath, to know what an actual full breath was. I don't know if I'd really taken any awareness to my breath ever, really, like not even as a kid. You know, you breathe a lot more naturally when you're little. You know, as children you see them belly breathe, which is how we teach you to do it in yoga, but you sort of lose awareness of that as you become an adult, and your mind's so busy, we're so conditioned into doing and being and achieving and go that breath seems like such a simple thing that just happens. So the breath for me was a really huge part, which is probably why it comes into my classes so much. I really focus on that breath, that movement of breath. But the shavasana of relaxation at the end, which I didn't really even know what that word meant, and then just being able to be and to know that whatever happened through the practice, whether it was a pose I didn't think I was good at, or that I maybe fell over in a balance, that it was just sitting with that and allowing it to come up and not running away from it. I think I probably didn't have the skills to sit with emotions before. I probably, even as a child, I was probably always sort of happy and like those good, all of us like good feelings, and I probably didn't really know how to deal with sadness or frustration, you know, even anger, and I probably just sort of buried those sort of feelings, whereas yoga taught me that it's okay to just feel them, and the emotion's not you don't need to react to them. So yeah, it was pretty life-changing, that first yoga class. I'm pretty sure the first thing I said to myself after was, I wish I'd done this sooner, but you know, you are ready when you're ready. As much as it's easy to sort of sit and say, please do yoga, it will change your life. I wish I had tried sooner. I really wish I had, but you know, if even just seeing this and any of it resonating about the feelings that you might have had, I would really, really encourage you to trust. You know, yoga is such a supportive environment. Every teacher that I connect with, you know, especially at Zenka, where we're so lucky to have that community, but any yoga person you meet, really, we've all got that same love of the practice, which is the journey to the self. It's the transformation
and learning to really love ourselves. And
yeah.
So Helen, just coming back into my DVD now, because I'm selling the Yoga for Anxiety DVD, which is 60 minutes in total. There's 10 minutes guided meditation, 20 minutes seated meditation, and 20 minutes seated practice and 30-minute standing practice. And it's for $30 only. If you follow the links above, you can grab that and have that and do it at home or anywhere. But you were very much a part of putting together this online content with me, Helen. And I know you've done the practice as well, but just for those people who haven't actually bought it yet and are curious, you know, why should they go and pay that $30 and start to do the flow from home?
First thing, it's amazing value. You won't get anything that's better value. The fact that I love that it's in the sections that it is, that you can do the 20 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 20 minutes, the 30 minutes. So wherever you are in your day, like, everyone has 10 minutes for themselves. So you can roll out your mat and you can do it at home. There's very little out there that's really good yoga for anxiety content, and Lauren's really, the flows are beautiful. Just to say that I've overcome a lot of challenges through anxiety. That's not to mean that I never get anxiety. So it lives within all of us, I believe. I don't think anyone's immune. So whenever I've got stuff coming up, I often like to refer to your DVDs and roll out my mat and do something more gentle. So it will teach you how to do that. It will teach you how to be gentle with yourself in a practice which you might not get in a class where you're, in a big class where you're sort of flowing maybe a bit more freely. It helps you to really slow down. And I think that's something that it's an art that we really need to remember. So it's a beautiful, beautiful series of DVDs, and where it's filmed is beautiful. Lauren's beautiful. The sequence is beautiful. Like yeah. Why wouldn't you buy it?
Thank you. So follow the links. You can jump online and buy that. But just before we go, just a couple of, if you could, just a couple of really quick little tips that someone can do right here, right now, with us on the other side of that screen, to just come into the present moment.
Okay, let's breathe. So I would start always grounding both feet, closing down the eyes, maybe lifting through the spine slightly, and just focusing in on your breath. So without needing to change or control anything, just noticing your natural breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. And if you find the mind's really busy, you might like to count the breath. It can be really helpful to start that count perhaps at 5. And counting down 4, 3. And just continuing until you reach 1 and starting again with the cycle. Simple as that, 5 down to 1. Counting and watching your breath. Allowing the belly to expand as you breathe. The rib cage to open. Shoulders to relax. Notice the simplicity of this natural breath, helping us to step into the present moment, which is the only moment that ever truly exists. And finding peace there. And we'll just stop counting. As simple as that. Opening the eyes, and really even just 3 deep breaths you can take at any time in your day, bringing yourself into the now. We all need to do it. We all get too stuck in our heads, yoga teachers included. So we're all still learning, this art of just being human beings again rather than human doings. So I would say a tip it would be to do that, at least twice a day, morning and evening. Try to catch yourself. I often catch myself in the car. Maybe I'm rushing to be somewhere. Maybe I'm late for an appointment. And I breathe, 3 deep breaths, because you can't control some situations outside of yourself. So come back to what is happening right now rather than thinking ahead or playing back.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. And I'm sure you'll see more with Helen Cole and more videos to come. Helen also teaches Pilates at the studio, so I'm going to have some Pilates coming at you soon. Thank you everyone for watching. That's Helen Cole, her journey with anxiety, finding yoga and doing full circle and coming out now as a yoga teacher, life and health coach and retreat facilitator. So thank you for sharing on Lauren Verco today.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.